moments ago.
95.7
Hold on with that.
Breaking news.
Well, imminent definitely was the word. The Miami Heat are finalizing a deal to send Jimmy Butler to the Golden State Warriors for Andrew Wiggins, Dennis Schröder, Kyle Anderson, and a protected first-round pick. So there it is. And we like you could just feel it about an hour and a half ago. This thing was coming by a freight train, and we are here literally in the shadow of a game about to tip off. We were told Wiggins is available, but obviously I would imagine these players are now going to be yanked off the floor. I don't have that for sure because, as Shams puts it, it's being finalized, which does not mean it's done. But in the process of being finalized, Jimmy Butler has been acquired by the Golden State Warriors, and the deal will be Andrew Wiggins, Dennis Schröder, Kyle Anderson, and a protected first-round pick.
Yeah, there you have it. And, I ran the trade machine earlier, and I had Wiggins and Schröder, but you had a number of different options on your $9 million-ish player, and it could be Anderson, it could be GP2 or Kavan. And honestly, if you're the Warriors and you had your choice, Kyle Anderson makes the most sense because Looney and GP2 have been here. They've been champions. And if you're just going to be swapping out expiring kind of deals, Kyle Anderson is a good fit no matter where he goes. So if this is officially going to be confirmed and they are finalizing, and it seems like it's going to be done, Shams doesn't usually fire off an arson judge and get one wrong. So that would tell me that, you pull the guys off the court because they're not going to play.
Right, and Anthony Slater had just tweeted as well, and I was just about to read it when the news hit, but he just wrote, there are strong indications the Warriors are nearing a trade for Jimmy Butler. Sources tell him and Marcus Thompson and Sam Amick. Steve Kerr just closed the locker room during the open portion to address the team. Look, he yanked everybody off the floor because this went down.
Ron Kroichik of the Chronicle just tweeted, Steph Curry has emerged to resume his warm-up routine. He had a solemn expression on his face.
Yeah, because Andrew Wiggins is no longer his teammate. And listen, my initial reaction, this is a lot they just gave up. This is a lot they just gave up for a guy who has been a very, very talented but problem. He's been a problem. I get it. Om Youngwasuk's words to us ring. Normally, when he gets acquired, he balls out. I'm sure Jimmy's going to play great, but not knowing that if you've got a future beyond the next 2.5 months with Jimmy Butler as a Warrior, this becomes very, very interesting. I get the Wiggins part. The other two pieces, Schröder's an expiring contract, Kyle Anderson, a little bit of a Swiss Army knife. That doesn't necessarily hurt so much. I am a little surprised that a team like the Heat, who did not have much of a bargain to drive, gets a protected first-round pick. I want to know what year that is.
And I want to know how protected that is, because if it's just top 5 protected, well, that's not much protection at all. And if it's top 15 protected, lottery protected is what it normally would be, top 14. If that's the case, well then what does it revert to? So until we get the details on what the pick is, when the pick is, I'll reserve judgment as to how much they gave up. But look, Mark, we talked about it. Schröder and in this case, Kyle Anderson, these are players who are not going to be a part of the future of the Warriors. Anderson does have 2 more years under team control,
yes,
so that becomes more attractive for Miami. A good glue guy.
And a contract that's not much, so it fits with just about anyone, about $8 million.
And in 2 years, his contract is not fully guaranteed, so if you like what you've had with him, you can rework the deal at that point and keep Kyle Anderson.
Real quick, it's time for the Take It to the Bank prediction, brought to you by Fremont Bank, full-service banking, no compromises. Here's my prediction for tonight. Andrew Wiggins won't play.
Yeah, I had a similar prediction. I was going to go under Dennis Schröder on assists, points, rebounds, and assists. I'm going to go under 0.
Yeah. Wow, that's bold.
My original one, I'm going to stick with it. It's Quentin Post, 2 threes, 2 or more threes. I mean, just to kind of falls on deaf ears. That's kind of a cute little prediction, but yeah.
Well, let's roll through this as well. The out-of-town NBA Game of the Night, sponsored by San Francisco International Airport. Wherever your team goes, you can get there from SFO. 11 games in the league tonight, including Spurs and Hawks from Atlanta. The Spurs are 21-26, but it's the debut for big acquisition De'Aaron Fox. The game is already underway in Atlanta, and the Spurs are up by 18 at half, so it seems to be going well. SFO can help you get down to Atlanta whenever you want. Maybe you want to plan a trip down there when the Warriors are in town. Your opportunity to do that would be on March 22nd later on this year. SFO can help you get there for the matchup. And that's the out-of-town game of the night, sponsored by San Francisco International Airport. Wherever your team goes, you can get there from SFO. But again, circling back, if you're just joining us, the reports are in. Jimmy Butler to the Warriors in exchange for Andrew Wiggins, Dennis Schröder, Kyle Anderson, and a protected first-round pick. Again, we said it off the top of our show. They were going to do something. They had to do something. Is this the perfect deal? No, it is not, in my opinion.
Right, and we talked yesterday also about which show would break the news, and we only had one crack at it, and here we are, and we get it at 5:15 toward the tail end, and the only show we do have is a little truncated, 3.5 hours, but the news breaks, and so now I guess you could think about what else might they do, because when you look at the pieces they still have, and you've got a couple more expirings. If you still want to be in the Vucevic market, you can be. You still have GP2 at 9, and you got Kavan, and I mean, you still have some pieces.
You could do that. Yeah, you could still go get Vucevic. You absolutely could.
Yeah, and so, I mean, that becomes maybe a lesser part of the gigantic story, which is Jimmy Butler is going to be a Golden State Warrior. And Jimmy Butler said reportedly yesterday or the day before that he won't sign an extension with the Warriors. So does that mean he opts into his $50 million for next year, or is this just a 2-month rental?
I mean, questions to be answered. Yep. I also want to let everybody know that Young Masuk just tweeted Steve Kerr just walked out of the locker room with his head down. I mean, this is you know, I know that this is all for Steph, but this is also a locker room tree shaker, man. Andrew Wiggins is very loved, and I do want to take one of our final minutes tonight to say that. Andrew Wiggins is done as a Warrior. He is a champion. He was an absolute key to winning this thing 3 years ago. And so I want to say thank you to Andrew Wiggins for his time as a Golden State Warrior.
No doubt. He will always be a Golden State Warrior champion. And, you know, that's the one that's going to hurt. And you think about now Jonathan Kuminga and the future of Jonathan Kuminga, because I don't think you make this trade unless you believe that Jonathan Kuminga can emerge and be a great wing. Because if, you know, you look at leaving and losing Wiggins, he's a good player, but now you look at Kuminga and think, you're not just going to let him walk in the offseason. I
mean, if you pull that Vucevic deal, you do have a starting and finishing lineup possibility here in a couple of weeks of Steph, Butler, Kuminga, Green, and Vooch.
It's pretty good.
That's different.
Yep.
That does not sound awful. I'll say that. But listen, this is filled with risk for sure. I get it. That's the position the Warriors were in. Obviously, we got a game here coming up in moments, and then we are all over this all day long tomorrow, right here on 95.7 The Game, including our show, which is going to be live from Splash, which is the brand new sports bar and restaurant at Thrive City at Chase Center, as we get ready for Warriors-Lakers. So tomorrow's going to be a huge, huge day.
I just cannot wait, and I'm going to see if I can get a Jimmy Butler Warrior jersey to wear to the party tomorrow.
You get to work on that.
Yeah.
Don't got a lot of time now.
No.
Okay, Jimmy Buckets is on his way.